Hello children. Today let's start with about the flower. Okay. So do you know what is the name of this flower? Its name is hibiscus. So what is the name of the flower? Hibiscus. And you have studied about this hibiscus in your lower class in 4th standard. Okay. Just remember. And you see the flower is the most beautiful and attractive part of the plant. Okay. So this is one type of flower, and this is a bell-shaped flower. You can see white color. Okay. So another type of flower you might have seen in our colony. This is like leaves are like Basavana Pada, what we call this one. This plant is called Basavana Pada. Okay. So today let us we take one typical flower. Hibiscus is called typical flower because it contains all the parts of the flower. Okay. So before drawing this all the parts of the flower, let me tell you the different parts of the flower first here. That is a stalk, sepal, petal, pistil and stamen. These are the 5 important parts of the flower. Okay. So let us start how to draw the first flower. Okay. Then we'll identify the parts. Okay. So this is what the part of the plant flower which is attached to the stem. Okay, that is called as a stalk. What do we call this one? Stalk. Stalk is the part of the flower which is attached to the stem is called stalk. Okay. Now after that we have the green colors. This green color what we have, this is called to be as a sepals. Green colors, these are called sepals. Okay. So let me draw the sepals like this. So this hibiscus we have 5 sepals are there. How many sepals we have? We have 5 sepals. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sepals are there. Okay. So we'll draw the sepals like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now I have written down the sepals. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sepals. So this is the sepal. These are green in color. So these sepals, green in color, when the flower is in the bud stage, these sepals also prepares the food, photosynthesis, and they nourish the bud. So bud takes the food from the sepals. Okay. And another function of the sepal is what? What you can see that sepals holds this bright color part of the flower called petals. Sepals holds the petals. Sepals holds the petals. So how many petals are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals. Bright color petal. So I will draw these petals here. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. One more I will do. So these bright color part of the flower which is held by the sepal, this is called to be as a petal. Okay. Now what I understood? Stalk which is attached to the stem. Attached to the stem. And after stalk what we have green color, that is called sepal. What is the function of sepal? Sepal, when the flower is in the bud stage, it will nourish the bud and it supplies the food. It prepares the food also and supply to the bud. and by taking that food, bud starts to bloom. When the bud starts to open, then what we are getting? A flower. Okay, and in that one, the bright color part of the flower is called petals. Now you can see in the middle, this is the innermost part of the flower. Center, innermost part of the flower. So the innermost part of the flower, okay, is like this. And on this top, what we have? 5 are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. So draw first, then I will explain what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the innermost part of the flower is called. This thing is called. The innermost part of the flower is called. So this innermost part of the flower is called. Again, in the pistil we have 3 parts of that we'll study afterwards. So what is the innermost part of the flower here? The innermost part of the flower is called pistil. This whole thing, this the top and here and this. Okay. So here you can see the yellow color. Okay, and which is attached to this pistil. Okay, yellow color. So this we call as a next stamen, like this. Stamen is like this. Many are there. Okay, so this is called a stamen, which is attached to the pistil. But in all the flower, it is not like this. So this is called stamen. Okay. Now, what are the main 4 parts of the flower? Main part is that sepal, petal, stamen, and pistil. Okay. One more you can stalk. I can add a 5 are the total. Stalk is a part of the flower which is attached to the stem. And after stalk, we have green color part of the flower that is called a sepal. Sepals holds the petals in position. Okay. And petals are bright in color. For hibiscus, I have drawn 5 are there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals I have drawn. And the innermost part of the flower, center part, this is whole thing is called a pistil. And on the pistil, what we have lines drawn here, that is called to be as a stem. So these are the main part of the flower. Okay. So one more flower I will every time this stamen is not attached to the pistil. So this is another Baswanpada flower I told. Now here you can see the different structure is there. The innermost part of the flower, this is called to be as a pistil. Okay. After that, here stamens are different here. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 3 are there. 3 stamens. 3 stamens and 1 pistil. Okay. So here that means don't think always this stamen attached to pistil. They are separate also like this. So you can see how the structure of the stamen. This is stamen. Okay. And this is the innermost part is there. This is the pistil. And I will show the same thing. You can see. Innermost, this is the pistil. Okay. This is the pistil. And this is called to be as a stamen. And in the stamen again, what is the yellow part that I will explain next video. Okay. Now I will stop here. We'll go to the next video. Okay. Now in second video, let us see the main 2 parts again separate, stamen and the pistil. Okay. Stamen and pistil. So on this flower, this hibiscus, you can see here yellow color, you can see, I told you no. So which is attached to the pistil. This is called a stamen. Okay. So if you see this one carefully by using the lens, you will get like big and drawn, but actually they are not so big. To make you understand, they are actually small only. But to make you understand, I have drawn in textbook also it is given bigger one. Okay. So this is a filament. Stamen has 2 parts. one is called a filament. This filament is attached to the, in case of hibiscus, this filament is attached to the pistil here, but always it is not there. So it may be attached to pistil, it may be sometimes it is attached to the petals also in some flower. As I told you, this flower, okay, that flower is not here, okay. So filament, and that filament top yellow color you can see, that is an yellow in color in hibiscus, what I told. This is called anther, or anther lobes we call it, or anther. Okay, so this is called male part of the flower. So you know, in flower two part, one is male part and another is called a female part. So which is the male part of the flower? Stamen is called the male part of the flower, and stamen has two parts along with filament. Okay, as I told you in the hibiscus flower yellow color, which is attached to the pistil, that is filament, rod like. Okay, in hibiscus it is color, its filament color is red only, little, that reddish color is attached to this yellow color, that is called anther. This yellow color is called anther. Okay, and this anther contains pollen grains. This was studied. Yellow dust is there, pollen grain. The color may be different, always it may not be yellow sometime. Okay, generally it is yellow, but always it may not be yellow. Okay, so anther contains the pollen grains. So what are the stamen parts? Main part is what? Filament and anther. A filament may be attached to the pistil sometimes, or it may not be attached to the pistil, as in case of petal. So sometimes it attaches to petals, or it may not be attached to the petals. In case of hibiscus, this is not attached to the petals, it is attached to the pistil. Okay. Now anther contains yellow grain called pollen grains. This is about male part. Now coming to the female part. The female part of the flower is called a pistil. P-I-S-T-I-L. So here I told you, this is called as a pistil. This is the innermost part of the flower. This whole thing is called pistil. Okay. But if you see in the pistil again, we have three parts. So here top is there, no? Pistil only, this whole thing. In pistil again you have three parts. Upper part, what I am showing you here, this is called 5 are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is called a stigma. What we call this one? Stigma. And in this long tube-like structure is there? Long tube-like structure. This is called a style. What we call this one? Style. Stigma. Inside one tube-like white color. If you separate this one, inside you will get one white color tube-like structure. This is now outside cover pink, red is there. But if you remove this one, inside one thin white color tube you will get. So that white color tube, what we call style. This we can call this also style. And at bulged part, swollen part is there. This is bulged or swollen part of the flower. Bottom swollen part. This is called a ovary. What we call this one? Ovary. So after what you understood? Stigma. This is called stigma. The style. This is style, but actually this is not inside. If you remove this one red color, inside white thin tube you will get it. This is called style. Style is attached here and it is connected to the ovary. This is bulged part, swollen part, bulged part of the pistil is called ovary. And if you remove this further ovary, inside the ovary you will get small bead-like structures. Very small bead-like. Okay, very small bead-like structures. These bead-like structures are called ovules. Okay, so now you understood. Male part of the flower is called stamen. Stamen contains two parts again, filament and anther. And anther contains a pollen grains. This is the male part. Now female part of the flower, pistil. Pistil has again three parts: stigma, style and ovary. And again ovary contains small bead-like structures, bead-like structures called ovules, white in color, or sometimes it may be different also. Okay. So this has shown here in this hibiscus. You can see this is the stigma. This is the inside style, white color. Inside you can see this one, and this is the ovary, bulged part. Inside the ovary, what we have ovules. Now again, before remove all the parts and show again inside the stigma and all those things. Stigma, ovules and ovary also I want to show you by removing all the parts. Before that, just I will tell you what is the use of this pollen grain and this ovules. How the flower is converted into what we call fruits. Okay, that is and flower is also part of the reproductive part of the plant. Reproductive part of the plant is called a flower. Why? Because from the flower, what we get? Fruits. From the fruits, inside the fruits, what is there? Seeds. And if you take the seed and put it into the soil, again what you will get? What is reproduction? You have studied. Okay. What is reproduction? Reproduction means what? Reproduction is nothing but what? Remember what is reproduction? Reproduction is a process in which all living things reproduce of their own kind. So like this, by the flower is converted into fruit, and from inside the fruit what we have? Seeds. From the seed again new plant will get. So that's why flower is called reproductive part of the plant. Now just I will explain in 2 minutes what is the use of this pollen grains and ovules and how the flower is converted into fruit. Let us see. Now, why do the petals are bright in color? Petals, you are studied in 4th standard. Petals are bright in color to attract the insects. But why should I attract the insects? When the insects sit on our body, we will beat the insect. But the flower welcomes the insects. Butterflies sit on the flower. Why? Because they have some purpose. So when the insect sits on this anther for the flower, they pick up the pollen grains. What they will do? They pick up the pollen grains. And these pollen grains, when the insect sits on the flower, they take the pollen grains and they sit on the pistil, that is the stigma here. When they sit on the stigma, these pollen grains comes here, okay, and it comes slowly into this style, and after the style it mixes up with the ovules in the ovary. Here, pollen grains. Now the pollen grains mix up with the ovules, then what will happen? Slowly, then what will happen? The flower start to converting into the fruit. Now you understood why do we have this pollen grains and why the petals are bright in color, why they attract the insects, and who will transfer this pollen grains into the pistil, that means insects, okay? And then when the ovules mix with the pollen grains, flower is converted into fruits. This is the story about the flower, how the fruits will get, okay? So again you are going to study in the 7th standard in higher class about the flower, okay? And one more thing I want to tell you that now the next part is that now I have explained all the parts of the flower. Now you have to go for a nature walk and collect the different flowers and observe them. What pattern or relation is it? Okay? That I will explain in next video. Okay? Now what we will do? Dissection of flower. Dissection of flower means we will separate each part and paste it or put it on a cardboard like this and label the parts. I will show you before separating. So how we have separated here, these are the petals, okay, and sepals. These are the sepals here, okay, and this is enlarged stamen. So this is stamen small here, this stamens here, okay, and this is pistil, innermost part of the flower. They are separated. So when you and inside this ovary, we have small bead-like structures called ovules are there, this I told. So like this you have to separate and attach, and by doing this activity, what you can learn is that you can easily identify the different parts of the flower. Okay. Now we will separate first the sepal, outermost whorl we call it. Sometimes it may break also, but I will try my level best to separate neatly. Okay, how many petals are there? You can observe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals and 5 sepals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sepals and 5 petals. That means in this flower number of petals and number of sepals are equal. Okay, and here sepals are joined together, they are not separated. In hibiscus flower the sepals are joined, but in some flowers sepals are separated like this. Here petals are also joined. So as the petals are joined here, sepals are also joined, but it may not always true. The pattern you have to observe by observing the different flower. Now let us separate the sepals first. Okay, so I will separate the sepal like this slowly. Sometimes it may get here also. Okay. So one. So I will remove this first another one. Slowly. 1, 2. Okay. So you can remove this part. Budget part inside only points. Oh. Now this we have separated the sepals. The sepals we have to put it here. This is 1, 2, 3, okay, 4 and 5. So here, so these are called sepal. So with the help of sellotape, you can paste them like this and write. These are called sepals. After removing sepals, now we will separate the petals, the petals. Okay. So this is one petal. This is second. This is third. This is fourth, and this is the fifth. So these are the 5 petals what we have separated. So these petals we can attach. Now on the file what we have in your home. Okay, you can attach like this so that it may not. Now what we have removed are these petals. Okay, now what is in my hand is there. Now this is 2 things, that is the pistil. This is the innermost part of the flower called pistil, and to the pistil what is attached here? The stamen. Now I have to separate this stamen. So first I will separate this slowly stamen one by one. This yellow I will remove it and put it here, but it is too small. Sometimes it will break also. Okay, so easily, it's not so easy. Okay, but slowly you can remove. Paste like this, and this yellow what we have, this is called anthers, which contains the pollen grains, and this is called a filament. Filaments. Okay, many filament, and this whole thing is called stamen, male part of the flower. Stamen. Okay. Now after stamen, this is sepal, petal, stamen. Now I want to show you stigma, style and pistil. Now this is stigma, you can see here stigma. This whole thing is style, and this is is the ovary. Bulged part is called ovary. So we can paste like this also. Okay. But what we can do is that to show you inside part, what I will do is that I will cut this one. Okay, cut and show you. Okay. Okay. Now you can see I have removed that red color. Okay. I have removed this red color. Okay. After removing this red color, I told you inside the white color is there. Okay. So this white color, which is attached from stigma to the ovary. This pipe is called a style. Actually, how it is there, when you see, it is like this, red color. So we removed this. Inside what I told you, white color tube-like structure is there, no? This is called style. And the stigma, style, and the ovary, bottom part. Okay, bottom part, ovary, they are joined together. They are joined together here, and you can cut this ovary transverse like this. Then you will get small bead-like structures. But here in mobile you cannot see. With the help of lens you can see. If you have a lens or this magnifying glass, you can see the small bead-like structure, but not so clear. You can see. Okay, but little you can see. Here I have put here. In this is cut half part. Inside we have small bead-like structure. Okay, with help of magnifying glass you can see okay, bead-like structure. This is called oval. Okay. Now as I told you, when this pollen grains, insects take the pollen grain and sit on the stigma, and that pollen grain enters into the style and comes in this ovary, and inside the ovary what we have? Ovals are there. So it will this pollen grain mix with the ovals, and slowly the flower starts to convert into fruits. Okay. Now like this is one activity you can do, parts of a flower. So take hibiscus flower ideal, and if you want you can take other, but hibiscus is easily you can identify all the parts here. You can see like this. Okay. So I will show it's like this. Okay. So this activity everybody compulsorily do it. Remove all the parts of the flower. Okay. And do it in your either classwork or one paper, color paper, and paste like this. Okay. And now let us see what you understood about this activity. One questionnaire is here. Let us Viva question is there in practical book. Let's see. Name the male part of the flower. So as I told you, stamen is the male part of the flower. Name the female part of the flower. Pistil, or it is also called as a what we call pistil, or carpel is also called as a female part of the flower. Name the different parts of a complete flower. Complete flower means a flower is said to be a complete if it contains sepal, petal, stamen, and pistil or carpel, that is. So if all the four parts are there, then it is called as a complete flower. So some flowers are there, for example papaya, they have only one male part or female part. Separate parts are there. Some flowers contain only male part, some contains only female part. So that you are going to study in your higher classes, 7th standard, that one. Okay. So that's why what is complete flower? A flower is called to be a complete flower if it has all the four main parts: sepal, petal, stamen, and carpel. It is also called as pistil. Okay. Next one. Here, name the different parts of stamen. This time you have studied filament and anther. Name the different parts of carpel. That means pistil, style, stigma, and ovary. So how many whorls does the flower contain? 4 whorls are there. 4 whorls means these parts, this is one, sepal, petal, stamen, and carpel. 4 whorls we call. Okay. So this activity everybody will do in the home and enjoy. And not only this, whatever the flowers you get, try to find out these parts. Now you identify how the stamens will be there. Okay. Pistil, and how to identify it is a pistil only. Pistil will be always at the center or innermost part of the flower is called pistil. Whenever you see any flower, you can see like this. Stigma it is. Okay, then it is in center, always in center of the flower is called pistil. Then anther you can see like this will be there. So this is anther. So you can easily identify anther. Any flower you take, if it is like this, it is called anther. What is the stamens? That is stamen. Okay, and pistil means like this, it will be the stigma style over here. Okay.